Hello everyone, this is Professor Barati, and I just want to give you an introduction into this semester's class, Financial Reporting 3, ACC 307, AZ3 is the class number. And for most of you, you've now completed Financial Reporting 1, 2, and this is the final one, Intermediate 3. These three classes are essentially what many professors and people in the industry perceive as the heart of the CPA exam. And as you can see, they're difficult and complex. We're not doing just simple debits and credits and balancing trial balances, making sure our columns balance. We really get into the theory of accounting and financial reporting. And from that, we kind of prepare ourselves to be CPAs and do the financial generally accepted accounting principles that are the standards for the industry. So this course really separates you from the entry level or the intro student. You're now at the intermediate level and about to embark on most likely the next class, which is an advanced class. And I'm not sure, but many of you might have to take some cost accounting as well. This semester's class will be a little better on your time, as last semester, several weeks had 2 chapters, and there was just a lot to cram in a 6-week period. So this semester gives us a little bit of a break so we can focus on 1 chapter per week. So behind me is the Canvas module, and as you can see, there are welcome packages. Take notice of the pre-class assignment. Notice that the university considers this to be attendance. So if you don't do the introduction, you're essentially not showing up your first day of class. So to many of us, online classes are very convenient and they make life a lot easier for us, but we tend to hide behind the computer and not put ourselves out there. So in this class, after 2 online classes that we've gone through as a group, we should be pretty comfortable now with the online setting. Reviewing week 1, we have accounting for income taxes, and our discussion for week 1 will be to define book income versus taxable income. Essentially, income taxes is nothing more than just reconciling 2 sets of books. And what we mean by that is we have our GAAP books, but when we go to do taxes, there are certain things that we can do more aggressively per the tax code or less aggressively. Certain things are allowed and some things aren't. So essentially what we do is we reconcile our books to the tax reporting, and we have basically tax assets or tax liabilities depending on the outcome. So that's week 1. Week 2, we move on to leases, primarily accounting for capital leases, but we're going to learn about the 2 types of leases, operating lease and the capital lease. The capital lease requires present value tables and building schedules based on the effective method of interest method, similar to what we did in bonds. So we're basically, with a capital lease, we're creating an asset and depreciating it. We're creating a liability and we're amortizing it. In week 3, we get into employee compensation benefits, which is basically accruing for vacation and sick pay and severance packages and those type of transactions. Week 4, we get into the earnings per share calculation. And in earnings per share, we're going to learn how to calculate the earnings per share, which is in the annual report of a publicly held company, and the dilutive earnings per share. The dilutive earnings per share takes into account basically the capital components of our retained earnings section that are dilutive, that can be converted into common stock. Those shares get added in the calculation. Then we learn about what to do when we find accounting errors from prior periods and it changes in accounting methods. A lot of disclosures are required on the income statement and annual report. When we find errors from prior periods, we have to determine whether we can record those errors in the current year or go back to prior years to restate those errors. This is quite common in accounting. You will see that companies are constantly having to restate prior periods based on these errors. There's so much complexity in corporate America and so many transactions. It is a lot more common than you think. And then finally, the week 6 is the cash flow statement, which we touched upon in our earlier classes, but we get further into the structure of the statement of cash flow, which is basically a good exercise. It's a fun statement because it requires us to basically reconcile both our income statement and balance sheet to figure out what our cash flow is for the period. One thing I want to emphasize this semester is the discussions. Many of you are basically copying and pasting discussions from the ebook and so on, and that's okay. But you have to ask yourself, are you really learning this stuff? Are you really prepared to take a CPA exam? So what we're going to do is I'm going to be asking more questions in these discussions, follow-up questions. And it's going to be required that you answer them, no different than if you were in a classroom and a teacher approached you with a question or a solution. And from that, it's going to be considered part of participation. So I do want to emphasize that the discussions are important. You're all doing a very good job with the discussions, and you're doing a lot of research, and you're doing a lot of writing, but I want you to understand the concepts and the theory about what you're learning. So please do follow up on those extra questions and certainly help each other out on these discussion boards and help work out problems. There is no penalty for being wrong. We will help you get the right answers, and basically what we want you to be is at the table at these discussions and working the solutions. Again, you'll be doing homework in these My Lab tabs, and essentially there's a lot of work here in a very short period of time, so I suggest you get a good head start and complete your assignments weekly on time. Another area that we're doing will be the Google conference calls, which we will try to do every week. And basically what we do is we go over homework assignments, more complex assignments that I think students will have trouble working on. I'm doing some videos on homework assignments as well to help you get through them. So do look at the videos, both the ones that I grab from YouTube and the ones that I do that are tailored towards the class, plus the homework assignments that I try to solve for you and help you get through those assignments. So the videos should be helpful. Feedback is always good. Anything to improve the videos, any special video you want on a problem, we can tailor it for your needs. That's a nice thing about having a small class, is we can personalize it. So with that said, I look forward to the new semester and the final semester for the intermediate course schedule. I wish all of you the best of luck. Enjoy the class, and above all, be active and communicate even when you're struggling. I want to hear from you, and we can certainly help you out in any way we can. I'm also willing to reserve some room space so that you can show up live and do some problems as well. And this goes for any courses that we're delivering here at Bay Path University. Again, thank you for your time, and enjoy the semester.